some of you might remember me from a couple of years ago. I'm from Toronto. Yeah, so this is my work. Most people don't see my work. This is the first time that I've actually put it up in eons. So, yeah, anything, so a couple of people have asked, anything that is black and white is platinum. Anything that is blue is cyanotype, and the rest of the remaining colors are gum bicromate prints. Everything is done digitally negatives. So, but just really shortly, I have, probably most of you know that I work very closely with Bob Carney. We share a studio, so yeah, I get yelled at a lot. But with that being said, I have also been really super blessed to have been able to meet and hold some, meet some incredible photographers and work with those people, as well as being able to hold some of the most incredible photographs wet. I got to hold a Vivian Mara wet, and I will take that to the bank because it was one of the most incredible experiences. Yeah, so it's been a real honor. A lot of this, some of this work is done, some of it has just begun. The cyanotypes with the gum, it's starting. I'm starting to question my negatives, and I'm starting to question where I'm going. For me, the most important thing in a photograph is demax and demin. I very much love a black and I love a white, so in a photograph. So that's where the color starts to come in and what I'm playing with. I'm also really inspired by things that I read and different art types and how to go into things. So people, like right now, my current favorite photographer is a woman by the name of Hannah Maynard. She was a photographer in the 1870s in Victoria, BC. Absolutely an incredible woman because she was the penitentiary photographer. But my reason why I love her is because she did photo composition. So my favorite photograph of hers is she's pouring tea into her head while she's pouring tea into her teacup while she is drinking tea. And when you think when she was doing that in 1870, and she does it and it's precision, I'm like, that's a woman I need to. I usually can't look at him because I will start sobbing uncontrollably. But it's essentially just one Polaroid where he just like snapped his foot, or a friend, or this or that. It's an incredible just kind of look at someone's life, and some of them don't make sense, and I'm sure to everyone they don't make sense. But it was a really interesting thing. My favorite movie is one made by Antonio Martinez, who is from Brazil. He made a movie called Near the Egress. It's a 5-minute short on Vimeo, and essentially it's over 800 tintypes that he, of circus animals and the circus, and so it's a stop motion animation, and it's absolutely incredible. The music makes it really creepy, but that's what I like about it. And I've been really researching, and the last 3 photographs come in with this, in that it's, I have started to really go through Johannes Itten's book, which is, I don't think is any longer available. It's his treatise on color. So what he essentially did was he pulled apart everything about color, why we see color, how we see color, when we see color, because our brains actually trick us into seeing color. And so that's why and how I'm going and looking at the negative differently and pulling it apart. So that's the fun of the digital negative, is we can actually question what we're doing. Yeah, and in conjunction, and I cannot pronounce the man's name, so I'm not even going to try. I also have been reading A Short History on the Shadow, which is looking through the last 400 years of painting and art creation, and looking at how shadow has influenced us as image makers. And it just kind of, it makes you look at how an image gets put down onto a piece of paper, and why we're seeing it the way we do, and why we may be photographing the way we do. So, yeah, and yeah, other than that, I guess my biggest theme, and I got told this by a friend of mine who looked at my images and said, "Man, you take some lonely snaps, hey?" I was like, "That's rude." But I'm all about, like...
Are you trying to reference some of the 70s work of photography?
What I'm really working for is to get more of a 3D effect.
Mm-hmm.
I really would like to try and get more pop and punch, but also just really demonstrate like how light falls onto something. Trying to get using that multiple layer thing.
It didn't occur to me when I first saw them, but you have really achieved a 3D effect in L3. I can't believe it.
Oh, thank you.
But let's talk about the subject. So did you pick the stones because you were working out in 3D, or you picked the stones for another reason? I mean, all of this looks almost religious, except for maybe two.
Wow, you really read into something there, yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of going there a little bit, eh? So, I mean,
Well, you think I'm a lot, but I think a lot deeper than I actually do.
well, I mean, the churches, and obviously
actually,
the Jesus signs, and then you've got the stones. So I mean, I'm seeing a religious, maybe for maybe one or two, you know, there's quite there's something going on there.
Really, that's completely,
Okay.
that's completely like by happenstance.
Really?
But then you got the dip
Yeah.
in there, yeah.
The tombstones actually were because,
That's actually a portrait of Bob Carmen.
I was driving down this one street in Toronto,
So I was there.
and I like to, for me, I like to see something and like it's like the dick pic, right? Like that actually, though they're actually like 5-foot high letters that I was driving by a vintage shop and they were set out to say dick. I actually didn't have to move anything. Yeah, and so it's like I slammed on the brakes and was like, oh my God, I get to take my own dick pic. Yeah, the tombstones were more because it was, it's a little tiny church in this one very rough area of Toronto. And all of a sudden I was looking at the church and all of a sudden I'm like, what's in and around it is these incredible, like, all the tombstones are before 1850.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like, oh wow. And I just, like, just kind of, I had to photograph them. And so I keep going back to it and yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
How did you come to choose handmade processes to interpret your?
I got kicked out of photography school, and I didn't have access to a darkroom.
Is there a good story behind getting kicked out of photography school that you want to share with us?
Actually, yeah. Essentially, I wrote my proposal to do my thesis, and they rejected it because what had come to light is that they were going to toss the darkrooms into the bin, and because my whole entire thesis was based in process. Yeah, so like I'm probably the one person in this room right now who I wouldn't consider myself a photographer. I'm more a printmaker. I can take one negative